What is up, Copy Squad? It's your boy Kyle Milligan coming to you live from Boston, Massachusetts. And I want to talk to you about basically this number one mistake that I see copywriters make that is killing their offers and basically terminating their sales before they even have a shot for them to occur. And I've actually started spotting this pattern. It's kind of a beginner's error, but I've seen a lot of people make it. I spotted it while working with copywriters inside the Copy Squad inner circle. It has to do with the offer section, and basically what it comes down to is when people get into the offer, right? They've done everything right up to this point. Everything's going smooth sailing. Like they've built a bunch of intrigue or hype, and it's very prevalent on an upsell page, and I'll explain why on an upsell page it's even worse. But essentially, they'll get a nice sales letter put together or a sales argument, and then when they kind of get to the point where they want you to download their free report or take advantage now or sign up or whatever, they immediately switch out of copywriting mode into offer mode, which is like, it's counterintuitive. But basically what it comes down to is when it comes to copywriting, we have to never forget that we are always selling, okay? And it's always an emotional sale. Essentially, we're not going to tell them what you're going to get specifically, like, hey, buy this cool thing because of features, benefits. Like, that's going to sound counterintuitive, but stick with me. I'm going to explain what I mean. So really what I see happen in the offer section is you have folks who start to basically explain what it is they're selling. So in financial copy, when we're doing like a stock tease or we're going to give away a free report or something at the end, in our bullets or whatever, our description of what the free report is about, we don't just sit down and say, okay, so this free report is about Microsoft and why we think you should invest in it for its dividends and our projections for blah, blah, blah. Because that's a very logical argument to sell a logical thing. And I've seen people flip the switch, like when they get to the offer mode, well, you're gonna buy my product, let me tell you what's in the product. Module 1, we're gonna do this. Module 2, we're gonna do that. Module 3. And the problem is they get very literal and logical. But it's at this point in the offer section where you need to continue to maintain that copywriting, like emotional salesmanship. And remember, copywriting is a language, okay? And the way it operates is we speak, convey information logically, like I'm doing for you right now, right? That's how you convey information, but it doesn't necessarily persuade you into action, okay? What copywriting does is you take the subtle subtext, the big four emotions, as I call them, new, easy, safe, and big, okay? And that's all outlined inside my book, Take Their Money. But you basically want to take all that information and figure out a way to take those innocuous, boring facts and frame them in the world of this is a new thing, it's easy to do, it's safe and credible, or it's going to make a big difference in your life. So instead of saying something like, I have this phone, okay, and it has 32 gigabytes of data or memory or something like that, and blah blah blah, and like the features, and this kind of does come down like the features and benefits thing. You can say something like, this phone is going to eliminate your need for any phone ever again for the next 30 years, has enough memory that you'll never have to worry about like wiping pictures or using the cloud again. You can store everything on your phone because it's so a massive memory thing. But anyway, I think one of the problems is we get into explaining what is the phone. Like, 32 gigabytes of data, and it has a camera with 12 megapixels. Like, that's like the wrong angle, okay? So that's problem number one that I'm seeing in the offer sections, where you start to kind of tell what the product is instead of selling the product. I think that's the point I'm trying to make, is people switch from copywriting mode into explaining their product and why it's so great. And then that's problem number one, is they get out of selling the product and they get into explaining the product. Problem number two, and this is what I mentioned at the beginning about upsell pages, where I see this being a problem, is when we get to the offer section, right? And that can be the bottom of a full sales letter. People make the mistake of just explaining the product. You have to keep selling the product still. You still have to sell here. Even whenever you're telling them about the product, it has to be like teaser content that builds that intrigue and value by making them want it more. You can't just explain what's inside, okay? That'll kill all that intrigue and emotional selling that you had into a paid product, or if you do a paid product to a more expensive upsell. I've seen it a couple times now where folks will just start offering the second product and basically the same exact logical sort of display of like, here's my product, here's what you get, hey, you just bought that thing, you'll love this thing. And they skip the entire emotional appeal or creating a need for it before they just launch into like, buy my stuff, okay? And again, this is stuff that I recognize working with some copywriters inside the Copy Squad inner circle. Every 2 weeks we break down a new sales letter, and every 2 weeks in between that we have conference calls where we just throw copy out there and talk about, you know, how do we make this conversion higher, how can we improve, like where are we slipping up. And this is a pattern that I recognized in our most recent conference call where it was kind of like, this is, you guys, like several people are making the same mistake. So I think that's kind of like and a lot of these folks who aren't always like copywriters, they're internet marketers of small businesses. So if you have a small business and you're trying to improve your conversions or sell more product too, that's the kind of environment that we're working inside of, right? Like not everyone's like a paid long form direct response copywriter. Thanks so much for tuning in. Peace out, Copy Squad.